Get ready with me while I tell you how I had to call the cops on a customer yesterday and get him permanently trespassed from my place of work. I want to put this out here just in case this video does, get some attention, that everyone has different triggers and stuff, and the way this triggered me might not trigger you, and that's okay, but it really triggered me. So I just want to start off with the fact that I do not get paid enough to deal with this. And I don't let stuff slide with customers. Normally, if any of the team members or even other managers are having problems with a customer, they come and grab me and I'll put them in their place. I am not someone to let a customer know. We are just all teenagers at the end of the day, basically working at this company, and we don't get paid enough to deal with customers screaming, cussing, yelling. So I'm one to not let stuff slide. Yesterday, I was not having it. I've actually been really sick of this job. I walk into work, I dread walking into work. I hate being there, and I just have to put a smile on my face. So I was not feeling it yesterday. I was not in the mood. I didn't want to work yesterday. I just wasn't having it. So I wasn't really caring. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically I was just not in the mood to argue with anyone. I was not in the mood to really talk to anyone. So I just want to put this out here that this is a regular customer. He actually works 2 buildings down, or 3 buildings down. He comes in pretty regularly. I wouldn't say twice a week, but definitely very regularly, that I know his name, I know where he works, pretty regularly. Every time this customer comes in, it's always something oh, my app isn't working. It said I got a free food, I got a free meal, I got a free this, I got that. Last time I was here, my food was disgusting. I want it made for free. Last time I didn't have my chicken. I want free chicken. Last time this, last time that. It's always something. It is always something. So I saw him walk in. He already had his phone out. I was like... The lady was still looking, so keep in mind there was a whole customer this whole time behind him. He pretty much comes up to the register, he's like, hi, how are you, starting normal conversation, and then he proceeds to go in, last time I was here, and I was just I already knew where this was going. I didn't think it was going to go as far as it did. But he started off by saying, last time I was here, the Alfredo was disgusting. It had no sauce. It was dry. I was missing my chicken in it, blah, 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 blah. I have this email to get a free Alfredo. And we don't send out emails saying that. We would send out an email. So if a customer was to email us saying oh, this happened, we would say oh, can you give us a confirmation code so we can confirm your order, and then we can send you a free bull card. We would never just say, oh, here's a free offer. We would never do that. So I was oh, can I see the email? He proceeds to say, well, then does this person work here? And I was oh, I can't give out personal information like that. He's okay, well, she's the one that sent me the email. I was okay, perfect. She's another shift manager here, so that's how I know it's a reliable source. Can I please see the email? He has the email already pulled up, and basically in the email is basically him just saying how disgusting his food was, blah, 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 blah. And then the shift manager responded saying, we're so sorry that happened, yada, yada, yada. Can you please give us a confirmation order, the order of your number, just anything, the card, the QR code, whatever. She just asked a bunch of things oh, are you able to show us a receipt? Are you able to confirm a proof of purchase, the whatever, right? He then proceeds to literally say, after this email specific, oh my gosh, I made that a heart. After this email specifically says, can we confirm your purchase? Whatever, right? I don't need to go through it again. But basically, he's so yeah, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do, but I'm here for my free Alfredo. I said, okay, so that email is not us saying that you can get a free Alfredo next time you come in. That was her asking for you to give her a confirmation, anything a proof of purchase, because we do get scammed. And he cut me off. He cut me off right there. He's well, she said I can get a free already. So I said no, and it wasn't a big cuss word. It was just DAMN. But now you got me messed up if you already are coming at me hostile about an Alfredo, y'all. So I cut him off as he says that. And I said, okay, so basically in that email, all she is asking is for a QR code, because lots of people, I was trying to say, scam us and say that, oh, this happened when they never made a purchase from us, so we just do need a proof of purchase. And he's I don't give up, and just started going off. He's here, take my credit card then, ring up my credit card so I can show that I've ordered here before. And I was I know you've ordered here before, I recognize you, you're a regular. He's exactly, you know me, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, so what we're not going to do is raise our voice. He's like, are you the manager? And I was like, yes, I'm the manager. I'm the only manager here. He's like, well, I want this person's phone number, the one that sent him the email, the other manager. I said, I am not giving you someone's personal phone number. He's like, well, blah, 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 like just starts cussing. And then he, while he's cussing, I basically just cut him off. I'm like, whoa, 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 you are not going to speak to me like that. I say it pretty firm. I lay the ground. You are not going to speak to me like that. He then puts his hand all up, like, right in my face and is like, I'm not speaking to you in any way. I am speaking to you like a civil human being. I said, you are not speaking to me like a normal human being. You are cussing, you are screaming, and now you are putting your hands in my face. However I worded it, I do not care. I can't even remember. At this point, I was like, this grown 50-year-old man has his hands in my face, and now he's cussing at me. That's all I could really remember. I don't know really where it went from there, but basically he's just like, am I gonna get my Alfredo or not? And I was like, well, if you pay for it, yes, but I cannot give it to you for free because that email does not, like, show, like, you can get this for free. And that's when he lost it. And then I pointed at the door. I said, get out. I've never had to do that before. I've literally never had to do that before. Like I said, some people have certain different triggers, and that triggered me back from a lot of roots that I obviously do not need to get into, but all I knew was this was a grown man screaming in my face, hands in my face. I was scared. I was in flight or fight mode. Like, I know it doesn't sound that serious, but it was that deep. And all I know is that this is a grown man screaming in my face. I need to protect my employees that are behind me. You need to get out. That was like the first thing that I was honestly really thinking of. I need to protect myself and my employees, and as well as these customers that are now hearing you cuss at me. So I literally pointed to the door. I said, get out. He said, no, I'm not leaving till I get my Alfredo. And I said, get out. And I said it again, but I said it like louder. He's like, blank you, you're a moron, blah, blah, like just F-bombs, F-bombs, F-bombs. I said, get out of my restaurant now. Like, I literally laid it down. I said, get out now. And he said, fine, or like however he worded it, and then he just F-bomb as he walked out. And I was just so like, did that really just happen? Like, am I being serious right now? The customer, as this is literally happening, she comes up, she's like, I'm so sorry, honey. Like, he should never speak to a woman like that, let alone, like, a little girl. Like, what was it even about? And I just told her, I was just like, he's fucking crazy. Like, that's all I really said. Like, I took her order completely normal. Like, was not crying. I was just really, like, in shock that really happened. And then, like, as I really just was like, that really just happened, I called my GM. He didn't answer. And then he said, like, hey, what's up? Literally, like, 5 seconds later. And I was like, you need to call me now, like, with a period, which I feel like he took very serious, because I would not say something like that, I feel like. I go to the back, and I immediately just start crying, because, like, my first thing was just, like, I'm in shock, like, I need to protect my employees, myself. And then after it happened, I was like, that just happened. Like, you know, I just started crying, like, I don't know. And I was on the phone, like, sobbing to my manager, like, I'm scared, like, he just did this, blah, 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 blah. You know, and I knew he was going to come back. He lives very close. Like, not that he was going to come back that moment, but he would be coming back in the building. And I didn't want that to happen to anyone else, nor do I want that happening to me again. My GM actually took it very, very seriously, which, not like I wasn't surprised, but I just wasn't expecting my GM to be like, okay, call the cops. Like, I want you to call the cops. He needs to get trespassed. Pretty much, I called the cops came, they took another statement from me, they asked literally every detail I knew about this man. I knew quite a bit, I knew the car he went into, everything like that. He left, and not even 5 minutes later, he comes walking into the building with a picture that looks like a mugshot. It's like zoomed in. He said, is this him? I said, yeah, that's him. He said, okay, thank you, we'll get this solved. I have 30 seconds left of the video, but that is basically everything that happened. The cop asked if I wanted to press charges, and I have too much stuff going on in my personal life to have to deal with, like, pressing charges, court, like, all that stuff. So I just said, no, I want him trespassed. I never want him on my property or on this property ever again. And that was pretty much it, and now he doesn't have access to the building, so.
Hi guys, get ready with me while I tell you about some things that exes and talking stages did and I still stayed. Okay, so starting off, I had this one boyfriend, and he was like, okay, let's go on a date. I was like, okay, whatever, first date. So he wants to go to this mall, and I'm like, okay, it's already like 30-40 minutes away from my house. So my mom's already irritated that she has to drive me 30-40 minutes away, like, just to go to the mall. But mind you, he's older than me, and he also drives and could have picked me up, but apparently he couldn't. So we get there, and my mom drops me off, like, in front of the mall, and when she drops me off in front of the mall, he then texts me, he's like, hey, like, don't go in the mall, like, whatever you do, don't go inside. And I'm like standing outside, like, looking at my phone, and I'm like, what? And he calls me and he's like, meet me at my car. And I was like, so don't go in? He's like, no, I'm at my car. Come out to my car, and tells me like where he's parked at. So I get to his car. Okay, so I get to this man's car and he's standing outside and he's like, come in. And I was like, what? Like, I thought we were like going inside to the mall, like to go shopping. He's like, no, we can't go inside. And I was like, why? And he's like, cause my mom. And I was like, I've never met this kid's parents or anything. And I'm like, why? Like, I'll meet her and stuff. He's like, no, you can't. I'm like, no, you can't. And I'm like, why? And he goes, no, you just can't. So I'm like, great. And he's like, okay, get in the car. And I was like, I don't really want to. And I wasn't, like, at that point, my mom was already irritated and having a bad day that she already had to drive me that far. So I was, like, terrified to call her. So I call my best friend up, and I'm like, she can drive and stuff. And I'm like, hey, like, I don't know what to do. Like, he's trying to get me, like, get in his car, and, like, I don't want to go in his car. He took my phone and hung that up real quick. So, long story short, I get into his car. My phone's in his car, so I get into his car. I get in the passenger seat. We're sitting there, and he's like, let's go to the back seat. And I'm like, I'm okay. And he's like, no, like, go to the back seat. He, like, locks the doors. So I'm like, okay, like, this man is older than me. He can drive, like, and I know he's way stronger than me because he's, like, way taller than me. So, like, I'm not gonna fight this right now. Mind you, this was, like, a year ago. I've learned from my mistakes. I know what to do now. I've not talked to him since. He has tried to, but, like, I know what I did was wrong. So don't hate, please. So we're in the backseat now, and he proceeds to pull down his pants and his underwear and says he's going to, because he needs to air it out. Boy, so I didn't see it. As soon as he, like, went to pull down his pants, I looked the other way because I was like, I'm not doing this right now. Like, I'm 14. Like, I'm not going to do that right now. Like, I was young. I was a freshman. Like, I'm not into that. I'm not going to do that. I've never done that, so no, like, just no. And I'm, like, looking out the window, like, the other way, like, not looking at him. He's like, oh, did you see it? And I'm like, no, like, still facing the other way. And so then I call my mom and I'm like, hey, like, can you come get me? So then I get out of his car and he's like, please, just 5 more minutes, like 5 more minutes, like 5 more minutes, like it'll only take 5 minutes, like please. And I'm like, no. And then he like pushed me up against the car and stuff, but yeah. And then my mom got me and I still stayed after that. He actually broke up with me. He would also always, if I said no, he would always manipulate me until it turned into a yes no matter what. Oh, I was also at our lake house in Lake Havasu on vacation, and he called me and told me that when I get back from vacation, I have to give him. And I was like, no, like, that's not gonna happen. Because he wanted me to give him, because I was on vacation and I was away from him. So that was my punishment. Like, girl, no. Oh my gosh, he had this school event and it was a band concert, and I went and I brought him flowers, and he ignored me the whole time until, like, everyone left, and then I had to go because my friend drove me, and I was like, okay, I have to go, and, like, I went to give him a hug, and he didn't even, like, hug me. He just grabbed my and said goodbye. Didn't even say thank you really for the flowers or anything, or even going and having to sit through that for like 3 hours. No offense to band kids, but that was hell. Oh my gosh. And then he also had a bedtime for me, and if I didn't go to bed at that specific time, he'd be really mad when I talked to me in the morning because he would see when I was less active. Okay, so I was at another school event with my best friend, and it was like a little concert thing, and he was like, hey, like, let's meet in my car. So I was like, okay. He's like, I have something for you. So I go down to his car, he makes me get in his car and stuff, and my friend, I was like, I'll only be gone for 15 minutes, and he knew that. I told him too. I was like, I can only be gone for 15 minutes. Like, I brought my friend here. Like, she doesn't even go to the school. Like, I'm not gonna leave her alone for, like, any longer than 15 minutes. I should have never even left her alone to begin with. Let me just put that out there first. I love you, Caitlin. So it's been, like, well over 15 minutes, and my best friend calls me, and she's like, hey, like, are you coming back? He also takes my phone and hangs up again. And it's been, like, an hour, and he, like, won't let me get out of the car, and is, like, forcing me and stuff. So, yeah. And I still stayed. I also, in the time, just thought that these things were completely, like, normal, because I was so manipulated in the relationship that, like, when the relationship ended and I, like, had told my friend, like, a lot of things, she was like, Aubrey, like, none of that is normal. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? But I know now. Okay, this is about a different boy, but so I had just broken up with a boy, and because a lot of things I can't really say, but so anyways, his best friend at the time liked me, and, like, we were at a basketball game at school, and we're, like, standing, and he's, like, 5 feet away from me, and he closes his eyes. This kid's best friend, my ex-boyfriend, who I just broke up with, his best friend, is hanging out with me, like, at a basketball game, like, and I just saw it in a friendly way, but he wanted more. And we're, like, 5 feet away, and he closes his eyes and sticks his lips out and starts walking towards me. And I, like, swerve, and I'm like, 'cause I had my first kiss at, like, I'm a freshman. Like, I was like, no, like, no. And he's like, oh, okay, maybe another day, and just left. What? Yeah, that was, like, really awkward. It never happened. There was never another day. whenever also if something made him mad or like I made him mad or something, he would punch a mirror and then show me all of his cuts and like complain to me about all of his cuts and show me the mirror. These are all most of them about like different people. So yeah. So like I don't like drink or smoke or anything like that, but this one boy does all of that. And he would like send me pictures of this emoji, but like the actual thing, and like of him eating it and stuff, and then he would like start tweaking out, and it was like really, I don't know, I think I just felt bad. I think I felt bad. One also knew like my neighbor because she was like the only friend I had at the time, and he called me with a to his throat upside down and was like just on FaceTime just showing me that, and I was like crying and begging him to stop it and everything, and he wouldn't. I was like, it's been like an hour, like 30 minutes of me just nonstop begging him to like stop, and he wouldn't. So I then hang up and he proceeds to text me later on, and I still stayed. I did break up with him, and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, nothing, how about you? And he was watching a show with my neighbor, my like really close best friend at the time, and I was like, oh. And then he also forced me to call him that night or else he threatened to kill himself. So I obviously didn't want that. I was a 6th grader, like I don't want that to happen to anyone. And then he called me and it was all like cupcakes and rainbows. He also would never let me have his location, like no matter what, and I still stayed. I also struggle with like SH and stuff, and one time one was like, yeah, yours don't count, like he was like, yeah, yours don't count because mine are deeper. Why would I stay after that? Like, well, I just thought that was like normal, and I was just like, oh, okay, and I was like really sad about it. I remember that. Okay guys, those are just some crazy things that exes have done in the past. I thank you guys for listening and watching, and let me know if you guys want like more talking videos or story times or anything, or if you want me to like talk about something, let me know. But I love you guys, and I hope you have an amazing day.
Hey guys, get ready with me, but I'm not in the mood to get ready, so this is get ready with me while I tell you strict rules I used to have to follow in my house growing up with my parents. One of the first rules I can think of when I was younger, when, you know, I came to the age where I started understanding rules that were given to me. The first thing I remember my dad ever telling me when I was in 1st grade was, hey, you're not allowed to talk to boys. To me, as a 1st grader, I was like, my dad just doesn't want me to have a boyfriend. Something like that. Guys, my dad meant don't talk to boys, period. So we had an open house night at school, and my dad went up there, and all of the students' names were on the desks. And he goes to mine, and there's a boy named Connor, and his name was on the desk next to mine. And my dad was livid, bro. He was like, you sit by a boy? And I was like, yeah, we have assigned seats. He was like, yeah, no, I don't like this. Ask your teacher to move. And I was like, no, that's embarrassing. I'm not doing that. And he was just sitting there going back and forth with me for a couple minutes. And then he was like, you know what? Okay, I'll do it. And I was like, okay. My dad goes up to the teacher, tells her to move my seat, and tells her to make sure I never talk to boys. Another rule I had when I was younger, I was like more in my teens, you know, starting to have friends that could drive, or my older sister would drive us around. A rule we had was when the sun goes down, you are home. He didn't care what time it was. In the winter, when the sun would go down earlier, I had to be home. Okay, another rule that I had was that I was not allowed to go to any sort of school events. Field trips, dances, games, anything like that, I was not allowed to go because my dad assumed everybody just went there to hook up and do whatever, do drugs. Mind you, this included middle school. So I was just like, okay, whatever, and I never went. Another rule I had that I never really agreed with was I was not allowed to have any friends that my dad didn't know. At the time, I thought that just meant like he had to meet them, whatever. But when my dad said know them, he meant he would have to stalk them. If they were to post with a guy or post themselves in a crop top or drinking or doing anything, I was not allowed to be friends with them. And I was like, I can't really control what my friends do. This is a simple rule, but I wasn't allowed to have anything below an A in school. This next rule that I had is one I like to talk about a lot because it genuinely traumatized me as a kid, but I was not allowed to wear tight clothes. This included leggings, shorts, tank tops, things like that. No, I wasn't even allowed to wear sweatpants. My dad's explanation for sweatpants was that someone could pants me at school. So basically all I wore was jeans, baggy jeans to be precise. Field days were not fun for me. Let's just say that. Okay guys, this next rule that I had to follow genuinely baffles me to this day. So this next rule was I was not allowed to have a job at all, anywhere. And my dad's reasoning for this was, you have parents that work their butts off hard enough for you not to have to go get a job. And I was like, okay, but to have experience working, and I want to have my own money that I could spend on whatever I want. So my dad decided to give us an allowance. Now guys, don't get me wrong, an allowance sounds great, but my dad would give me $100 a month, which sounds like a lot, but his rule was you are not allowed to use my money, like his and my mom's, for anything I needed. Like the only thing I could use their money for was food. I had to buy my own products, I had to buy my own clothes, anything I needed or wanted I had to buy myself. So mind you, as I got older, the $100 a month was just not enough for the things I wanted. And of course everything I wanted to buy was not things I necessarily needed, but it just kind of sucked. You know, if I wanted to buy something, I had to wait until I saved up enough money, or I'd have to sacrifice one thing I wanted to buy for whatever this was I wanted to buy now. So yeah. Okay, I'm done, and I low-key hate my makeup, but it's fine because I got the trauma dump. There's more, but this video is long enough, so bye guys.